Leading of the Holy Spirit Channel presents. The Book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible and is a foundational text in both Judaism and Christianity. It covers the creation of the world, the origin of humanity, the early history of the Jewish people, and the covenant between God and his people. Here's a summary of its key sections. 1. Creation, Genesis 1-2. A creation of the world. God creates the heavens and the earth in 6 days. The creation is orderly and purposeful. Day 1, light and darkness are created. Day 2, the sky is separated from the waters. Day 3, land appears and plants are created. Day 4, sun, moon, and stars are created to govern day and night. Day 5, sea creatures and birds are created. Day 6, land animals and humanity are created in God's image. God creates man, Adam, and woman, Eve, and gives them dominion over the earth. Day 7. God rests, marking the completion of creation. The Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve are placed in the Garden of Eden, where they are told to live in harmony with nature and God. They are given one command: not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. 2. The fall of man, Genesis 3. The temptation and fall. The serpent, Satan, tempts Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, and she shares it with Adam. As a result, they both realize their nakedness and are ashamed. Consequences. God punishes them. Eve will experience pain in childbirth and desire for her husband. Adam will toil and work the land with difficulty. They are expelled from the Garden of Eden, and the relationship between humanity and God is damaged. 3. Cain and Abel, Genesis 4. Adam and Eve have 2 sons, Cain and Abel. Cain becomes jealous of Abel and kills him. God punishes Cain, marking him to prevent others from killing him, and Cain becomes a wanderer. 4. The generations of Adam, Genesis 5. This chapter provides a genealogical list from Adam to Noah, showing the longevity of early humans, with many living for several hundred years. 5. The flood, Genesis 6-9. A wickedness on earth. Humanity becomes corrupt, and God decides to send a flood to destroy all life. A Noah's Ark. God chooses Noah, a righteous man, to build an ark to save his family and a pair of each animal species. The flood lasts for 40 days and nights, wiping out all life except for those on the ark. A covenant with Noah. After the flood, God makes a covenant with Noah, promising never to destroy the earth with a flood again. The rainbow becomes the sign of this covenant. 6. The Table of Nations, Genesis 10. This chapter lists the descendants of Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, who become the ancestors of various nations. 7. The Tower of Babel, Genesis 11. A humanity speaking one language decides to build a tower that reaches the heavens. God confuses their language, causing them to scatter across the earth. 8. The Call of Abram, Genesis 12-14. God's covenant with Abram. God calls Abram, later Abraham, to leave his homeland and promises to make him the father of a great nation. Abram and his nephew Lot travel together, but their herds become too large for them to live together peacefully. They part ways, with Lot choosing to settle near the wicked city of Sodom. 9. The story of Abraham, Genesis 12-25. A covenant with God. God promises Abraham that his descendants will become a great nation, and that through him all nations of the earth will be blessed. At the birth of Isaac. After a long wait, Sarah, Abraham's wife, miraculously gives birth to Isaac, the child of promise. At the binding of Isaac. God tests Abraham by asking him to sacrifice Isaac. Abraham shows his faith, but God intervenes, providing a ram as a substitute. At the death of Sarah. Sarah dies, and Abraham purchases a cave to bury her. Isaac marries Rebekah, and they have twins, Esau and Jacob. 10. The story of Isaac and Jacob, Genesis 25-36. Jacob and Esau. Jacob tricks his brother Esau out of his birthright and later deceives their father Isaac to receive the blessing intended for Esau. A Jacob's ladder. Jacob has a vision of a ladder reaching to heaven, with angels ascending and descending. God promises him land and descendants. A Jacob's family. Jacob marries Leah and Rachel, having 12 sons who become the founders of the 12 tribes of Israel. A Jacob's name changed to Israel. After wrestling with a divine being, Jacob's name is changed to Israel, and he becomes the father of the nation of Israel. 11. The story of Joseph, Genesis 37-50. A Joseph's dreams. Joseph, Jacob's favored son, has dreams that suggest his brothers will bow down to him, causing jealousy. They sell him into slavery in Egypt. A Joseph in Egypt. In Egypt, Joseph rises to power after interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, which predict a coming famine. Joseph stores grain during the years of plenty and helps Egypt survive the famine. A reconciliation with his brothers. During the famine, Joseph's brothers come to Egypt for food. Eventually, Joseph reveals himself and forgives them. The family is reunited, and they settle in Egypt. 12. The death of Jacob and Joseph, Genesis 49-50. A Jacob's blessing. Before his death, Jacob blesses each of his sons, prophesying the future of the tribes that will descend from them. A Joseph's death. Joseph reassures his brothers that God meant their betrayal for good. He dies in Egypt, but before his death, he asks that his bones be taken to the promised land when the Israelites eventually leave Egypt. Key themes. A creation. God's power and sovereignty in creating the world and all life. A covenant. God's promises to his people, particularly through Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. A faith and obedience. The importance of trusting and obeying God, even when it's difficult or unclear. A sin and redemption. The fall of humanity into sin and the ongoing effort to redeem and restore humanity. A family and nation. The establishment of the people of Israel through Abraham's descendants. Genesis sets the stage for much of the rest of the Bible, introducing key figures and themes that will be developed in later books. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate your support of our channel, leading of the Holy Spirit.